Yeah. The Rocky Mountain News had its start in 1859 with the gold rush to the west. And so it's definitely a part of Colorado's heritage. And so we are losing a piece of our history with the closing of the Rocky. And that's really sad, because to think about the Rocky in relation to the rise of Denver, we've seen the Rocky in our unfolding days since its early times, since the time before Colorado was even a territory, let alone a state. The loss of daily newspapers across the country is part of a long-term trend, and it's a concern for a lot of people, not just those of us in journalism, because it represents a change in how people are relating to each other and to society as a whole, and how we get our sources of information. We've relied on the newspaper for a long time to be a source of detailed information and ongoing coverage of issues. That's different than the way television news has covered things, and it certainly is different from the way that I see young people today getting news. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll check their home page and see what Yahoo has put up, usually from the Associated Press headlines. Those are often not even specific to the city that they're in at the time. And so I think there's a real loss of coverage of the local area that's happening across the country. And that's something that we need to think about in terms of how do we as a society want to provide support for the kind of watchdog operations that journalism has long played in relation to those in power. Because journalism has always had a role of keeping a check on power, and we want to make sure that we maintain that in some way. And if it can't be through traditional journalism, then we need to figure out other kinds of models that support journalism, even if they don't necessarily support the traditional print newspaper.